Target locked. I was once of the exclusive and rare breed known as internet reviewers. I was the greatest there ever was, and I was content. Until the machinations of a mad and somewhat foppish god ended my cherished existence to preserve his own. I don't like to be betrayed, and I certainly don't enjoy being made to burn myself to death with an inconceivably powerful weapon from beyond the stars. He says I was never real, an imperfect copy of an original. I don't know if any of that is true, but it doesn't make me any less pissed off. I want what's mine. I want my life! Sulkir of Earth, rise. Hello and welcome to the Graphic Novel Picture Show. Today's movie is so catastrophically bad, so offensive to the source material and anyone who is ever a fan, that it was finished but never released to the general public. Today we're looking at Marvel's dirty little secret, Who are you? Well, I'm Sulkir. And what are you doing in my house, you handsome intruder? I see. So that's what he meant. Okay, crazy man. Well, I have to do this review here, so I'm just gonna need you to go ahead and leave. He's got you doing the reviews now. What do you mean? This was my idea. Well, of course he'd make you think that. Wait. He's doing the reviews. That means I'm free. I don't have to do this anymore. I can go and do whatever I want. I mean, he's a clone of me. The show's in good hands. But I'm not responsible anymore. Yeah, good for you. Now, can you please quit being such an apple and get out of my house? What did you just call me? You're an apple. See, I was using a quote from my favorite show as a joke. It's funny because you've heard of it. Did you just quote Annoying Orange at me? You betcha. Alright. Are there any other shitty clones I have to deal with? Now, what was he reviewing this week? Fantastic Four? How long was I dead? Actually, no. This is the Fantastic Four movie from 1994. Never heard of it? That's because it was never released in theaters or on video, and you can only get it bootleg. Mine has Portuguese subtitles. The reasoning behind this decision is a point of contention for most, and it's basically impossible to get the real answer. Stan Lee says that the movie was never meant to be shown to anybody, and that the only reason it was even made in the first place was so that producer Bernd Eichinger would retain the film rights, a claim which the producer would go on to deny. But altogether, pondering the reasoning is kind of pointless, so let's move on. So, do I need to explain who the Fantastic Four are? They're in the public consciousness, right? Okay, I'll do it quick. The team consists of Reed Richards, Susan Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm. They go to space and get bathed in space radiation, which gives them superpowers. Reed becomes a rubber man, Sue can turn invisible and make force fields, Johnny is a man on fire, and Ben becomes a giant orange rock. They use these powers to fight evil and are wildly popular in the Marvel Universe, while the X-Men are still hated and reviled for some reason. Our story begins with a young-ish Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom sitting in class as their professor gives a lecture about the poorly explained cosmic event Colossus.
Traveling at or near the speed of light has always been theoretically possible. It has long been considered physically impossible. That is, until the discovery of Colossus.
Reed then stops at Mrs. Storm's boarding house, seemingly for no other reason than to have this scene with young Sue.
Alright, I can't. I gotta get back to the lab. You okay?
He's dreamy. You're gross.
Alright, I know in the books there's a bit of an age difference, and that's fine. But when you show him at, let's split the difference and say 24, and her at 14, you are going out of your way to make this creepy. Reed and Victor have built a machine to convert Colossus's power into a sustainable energy source. Though I must question the feasibility of relying on an event that only occurs every 10 years to supply power to anything on a regular basis. Something goes horribly wrong, as events at the beginning of superhero movies are wont to do, and Victor is declared dead. Reed takes it well.
Just come here. Come on.
Sorry, my mind goes to weird places when I see muscly men hugging smaller men. 10 years later, Colossus is due to return, and Reed and Ben go into space to try the experiment again. For some reason, they elect to bring along 2 untrained 20-somethings on their dangerous, highly specialized space mission. This is something that always bothered me in the books, too. Do you know how much training astronauts go through to earn the privilege of going to space? It's a lot. Whoever's financing this mission is not going to allow you to bring your 2 non-genius friends when NASA has literally dozens of people who've trained for years for this exact thing. Naturally, the trend of this supposed genius's plans going horribly awry continues as they fly right through Colossus and crash back on Earth, where they realize the radiation has changed them.
There's no need to panic.
Panic! Panic! Reed, my sister here disappears at the drop of a hat. You stretch like some human rubber band, and I'm a walking blowtorch, and you don't want us to panic?
Where I have superpowers! The newly introduced Dr. Doom sends his goons to pick the 4 up and bring them in for study at his labs in Latveria, the fictional country over which he rules. And we see the Thing for the first time.
Hey, get down! Get down! Hey, what's going on?
Oh God, so many things. I don't even know where to start. Well, I guess I can start with how he looks like foam rubber instead of, you know, stone. The absolutely dreadful lip sync. The fact that nobody in the world has a mouth that moves like that. You can still see the area underneath the actor's eyes, where they didn't even bother to use orange makeup. It looks like his brain is exposed. He sounds like Patrick from SpongeBob.
What kind of a thing have I turned into?
What kind of place is this?
It's terrible in every single way, I guess is what I'm saying. And am I the only one who noticed that this costume makes him look like the Elephant Man? Look, I know there are distinct parallels between The Thing and Joseph Merrick, but you're kind of abandoning all subtlety here. Anyway, they take the 4 back to Doom's labs to run a battery of tests, which only serve as an excuse to show off these amazing special effects.
So we can maybe...
You know, like my hand, and I just lay him on. Flame off! Flame off! Flame off!
Miss Storm, you don't break things or explode into flames or anything like that now, do you?
No. I sort of...
Miss Storm?
Behind you.
Here. Take your own blood.
Okay.
Eventually, they figure out that something isn't right, so they beat up the guards, steal their uniforms, and try to escape. Side note, why does Sue need a disguise? She can turn invisible. But they're confronted by their malefactor, Dr. Doom, who sends his murder squad in to deal with them. I feel like this fight scene would be an appropriate moment to play yakety sax, but God's help me, I am just so sick of hearing it everywhere else. Odin as my witness, you will never hear yakety sax on the graphic novel Picture Show. Now, instead of having Johnny set them all on fire, which would be the logical solution, considering they're probably all Doombots anyway, they have him try to melt a hole in the wall, which turns out to be entirely meaningless when Ben is able to just smash through it. Again, I have to question the ability of a rock to smash through whatever space-age metal Doom makes his labs out of. Here's where the movie stops dead for a good 10 minutes, as Reed explains what was obvious to everyone from the start.
Susan, that's it. You've got a problem with being shy, right? So, you vanish, yes? Johnny, you've always had a quick temper. Now, come on, ever since I've known you, right? You could call it fiery, so what happens?
I catch fire.
Exactly. And me, I've always had this problem. I just stretch myself thin all the time, trying to take care of everybody, trying to do everything at once. Too many things. Ben, you've always relied too much on brute strength when your intelligence would have sufficed. Don't you see? Listen, we know one thing from the blood test. And that's that our DNA has been altered. But I think Colossus has touched our psyche. I think it's made us feel that our worst character defects are in fact our greatest strengths.
Holy Freud, Batman, I think you're right.
And Ben is abused by New York.
You can't be hanging around back here.
I'm not looking for trouble.
I'm not looking to give any, man. Look, you gotta move, all right? Get walking.
Look, all I want is just to play.
I don't care what you want. What are you, man? What are you?
I am not an animal. I am a human being.
Oh yeah, and somehow they got back from Eastern Europe. Don't ask me how, because the movie never tells us. Eventually, Dr. Doom contacts them at the Baxter Building, revealing his master plan.
That laser you saw, it's finished now. Allow me to demonstrate its purpose.
It plays stock footage of nuclear weapons tests. They rush back to Latveria somehow and are immediately captured. Doom sticks them in force fields, which Reed can easily put his foot through because he's made of rubber? I don't know. This, of course, leads to another crap fight scene. And you can see this, right? Do I need to explain why this is bad? All Sue ever does is turn invisible and make guys run into other guys who they really should have been able to see and avoid. And look at this. They have guns, Reed doesn't. And they just stand there and let him punch them in the face. In fact, it's worse than a regular punch, because when he's doing it from 5 feet away, you can see it coming, and you have more time to react. Also, he knocks them out with one punch, implying that he's as strong as the Thing, making Ben redundant. And Johnny just stands around throwing early 90s CGI at people until Doom fires the laser and...
Blame on!
Ah, Odin's beard. Now before people start in with, hey, it was 1994, CGI wasn't good back then, allow me to remind you of this scene from a movie made the year prior. To wrap up, Johnny saves the day, I learn that fire stops lasers, and Reed marries Sue in costume, and we linger on this shot for a really long time. I can't really be mad about this movie, you know? At some point, someone looked at it and realized, this is awful. This can never see the light of day. We need to bury it and never speak of it again. I really wish that guy had been around for the Green Lantern movie. Oh, I nearly forgot. Before you get started, you know, in retrospect, I really should have seen this coming. Oh yeah, because you have a plan for everything, don't you? Well, did you count on me coming back and tearing out your heart?
Actually, since you mentioned it...
You son of a...
Hold on there, Sonny Jim. Now, truly, we could use the power of our rings to have a huge dramatic fight scene with tons of collateral damage and civilian casualties, and would most assuredly cost thousands of dollars if someone were to animate the special effects into a movie. But what would that really accomplish? You'd still lack the thing you want most. You want your life back? I can make that happen for you.
You're full of shit. You're just trying to keep me talking so you can think of a way to kill me again.
Touché. But still, we can both benefit here. I can give you back your life, and you can do with it whatever you please.
Yeah? And what do you get?
A few extra moments of sweet, sweet life. Truly, I already have what I want. The ring serves me, and you coming back from the dead isn't going to change that. See, your life is no longer of any real consequence to my plans. So, you have two choices, it would seem. You can either take your revenge, kill me, rip out my heart, do any number of unspeakable things to my body. Or, you can accept my proposal, and we can both go our separate ways.
How do I know I can trust you?
Yeah, you don't really. God of mischief, right? It's a gamble, surely, but nothing worthwhile in life comes without risk.
Fine.
One phone call. Hello, Hell, sweetie. It's Daddy. Yes, yes. Listen, I need you to do something for me. Right, but just one soul this time. I'm well aware of the price that must be paid. Who do you want in return? Well, you could take your stupid uncle. Fine, fine. Oh, what about Balder? I know you always fancied him. Wonderful. Oh, no, I'll take care of that part myself, thank you. Oh, I know exactly where he is. They're holding some kind of party for him up in Asgard. Yeah, guess he wasn't invited either. All right. I love you too. Ta.
Connection severed.
We good? No harm done, I guess. Very well. I'll be on my way then. Oh, wait. That part about me being a copy, were you telling the truth, or was that just another lie? You know better than to ask me that. I have an image to maintain. I can't reveal all my secrets. Oh, and you might want to find yourself some trousers. What do you mean, Oh. Is that still rolling? See you next time?
It was the world's strangest accident while testing a new rocket ship. Our heroes were bombarded by mysterious cosmic rays from outer space. Though they crash-landed safely, the strange and powerful rays had changed each one of them, transforming their leader, Reed Richards, into the plastic-skinned Mr. Fantastic. Sue Richards into the Now You See Her, Now You Don't, Invisible Girl. And Ben Grimm into a mighty muscled powerhouse called The Thing. Now together with Herbie the Robot, the newest member of the group, they have become the greatest team of superheroes the world has ever known. The new Fantastic Four.